Good morning, everybody. Meteorologist Jim Dickey back here with you with your Wednesday web weather. Here comes the cold front. As we told you, that front moving in off the Gulf of Mexico right now, already spreading rain along the Gulf Coast. Some of it on the heavier side. For the most part, the rain's been pretty light this morning, sort of that steady nuisance rainfall. Now, as we start with the satellite presentation, this is looking sort of daunting here. This was back at 2:30 this morning. All the red showing up on the satellite presentation. Some heavy thunderstorm activity, a nice squall line that formed up. Watch as I advance this forward, though. The darker colors giving way to more yellows, more whites, more blues. The cloud tops are warming as this sort of collapses somewhat. Now, still, certainly, some rainfall associated with it, and there will be more to go as we head through the next couple of hours. In fact, as we zoom in here, a little bit of enhancement along that line, a little blow up of some heavier rainfall sitting just off to the west of Sarasota and Venice and of coastal Charlotte County. That has eyes here on southwest Florida and will keep that rain locked in through the rest of these morning hours. We sweep under the clouds with ABC 7 live Doppler radar. This live at just before 8:40 this morning as I'm recording this for you. And yeah, the rain right now is fairly light, but the heavier rain is sitting just offshore. That is what I'm going to be watching as I hop on air for ABC 7 News at 9. The steady light rain works off to the east, and that heavier rain begins to try to spread its way in. Now, this product I'm showing you here, it isn't necessarily a model. It's projecting the rainfall out. It's using AI as well, in fact. So I wouldn't take it as ground truth because some of this heavier rain could break down. But I do think soaking rain returns the Lee County Islands, Cape Coral by the time we get to 9:30 and 9:45, and that looks to continue. So the heaviest rain of the day moving in by the time we get to 10:30 and 11 o'clock. We're going to have to watch this pocket of heavier rain closely to see if that can hold together. I suspect it'll break down somewhat as it moves in. Still certainly the potential that we are tracking some of that heavy rain as we go towards lunchtime. For now, I'm going to hold the rain chances as they are. I might be tempted to up the rain chance as we go through the afternoon, holding that more widespread rain till at least 12 noon and then dying down. I'll have an update on these for you, again, coming up on more in the morning at 9. But it's mainly scattered rain from the noontime hour onward, gradually winding down as the storm system, as the front moves in and then moves through the area, and then that cool, dry air begins to kick in on the back of a northwest wind. So here's how it plays out on our storm tracker model. Tracking those downpours continuing through 10, 11 o'clock. Of note, our storm tracker model not doing a great job of initializing. What I mean by that is it's not doing a great job of picking up on where the rain is right now. So I have a little less faith in what it says for the rain the rest of the day. I do think we still have those showers past 12, 12:30, and then we start to dry things out. So if you have outdoor plans today, I think after 2 and 3 o'clock, for the most part, looking okay. It is going to turn breezy, though, as that front kicks through. You can tell the front's through now because the winds are shifting. By 6 o'clock, you're going to feel the chill beginning to settle in as we begin to tap into that cooler, drier air that will spread in out of the north and west here. There's your winds. It will turn windy and shifting winds with the front. So ahead of the front right now, we have a south wind, about 10 miles per hour. As the front moves closer to the area, more of a westerly component to the wind, front is through at 2 o'clock, wind shift out of the south. By 6 o'clock, fronts to our south. Now we have a northwest wind, and that's when the dry air begins to come in. So certainly by the time we get to dinner time, dry air arrives. That shuts down the rain entirely, but brings that colder air in. And what are we talking about when we say colder air? Look across the lower 48. There are 40s right now. Dallas, St. Louis, up to Chicago. Look at Denver at 3 currently. And then you can clearly see where the front is with temperatures still in the 70s here in Cape, Tallahassee, 60s up to Atlanta. Warmth has spread all the way north towards Richmond, Virginia. But that front is going to dive south and east, and it's going to physically drag that cooler air in with it. You can already see temperatures backing off a little bit. New Orleans at 57. Here we are at 73 in Cape, 78 Miami. When there's a 20-degree swing from New Orleans to Miami, typically it means, yeah, there is a front involved. And sure enough, yes, there is. So here's how the temperatures will trend. It is going to take a good 24 hours or so for us to truly cool down in the low 80s here this afternoon for our high temperatures. We back off to the 70s by 7 o'clock this evening, and then numbers falling into the low 60s tomorrow morning. So these numbers pretty closely in line with average as the chill is just starting to arrive. What will happen tomorrow, though, is sort of a classic battle we see play out throughout the winter months here a couple of times each and every winter in Southwest Florida. You got the sun, and we'll see plenty of sunshine tomorrow trying to heat things up, but that north wind is physically transporting in that chillier air mass, trying to keep things cool. And that cool air transport, we call it advection, that will win out, keeping our numbers in the mid-70s, highs about 10 degrees below average tomorrow afternoon. And then, once the sun begins to fall into the afternoon, the evening, that's when we truly start to feel that chilly air settle in. There's 8 o'clock, 8:15, already seeing some 50s on the board, already nearing our lowest numbers of the season in many locations, with still hours to go for temperatures to fall, and fall they will. By the time we get to early Friday morning, we're waking up to numbers in the 50s just about everywhere, and our north and inland communities like Arcadia, like LaBelle, I think we get into the 40s. And it's not just a one-off. Oftentimes we have these fronts come through, it's one day of chilly air, and then numbers bounce right back. Not so this time. It's going to be a couple of days of chilly weather. Low of 50 on Saturday. I'm forecasting a low of 49 degrees in Fort Myers on Sunday. And if we get into the 40s, it has been a long time coming. In fact, you have to go all the way back to February 22nd. That's the last time we had a morning low in the 40s in Fort Myers, 272 days ago. So yeah, bottom line, the coming days is going to be sort of a shock to the system, just how chilly it gets and how long the chill lingers. A chance for us to break out those sweaters that build up dust all summer long in our closets here, the 4 or 5 that we have that we rarely get the chance to use. You'll get the chance to use them over the next couple of days. Again, I'm going to be back in just a couple of minutes with you on More in the Morning at 9, tracking the rain, and I'll have an update on these temperatures here, certainly over the next couple of days. So I hope to see you then.